Okay, so in this practice, we're going to start lying down. So just come with the knees bent and the feet flat onto the floor. Settle down through the lower back, through the shoulders, and have the hands either resting lightly onto the abdomen or down by the sides. Soften the shoulders down. And if the palms are down by if the arms are down by the sides, have them palms face downwards. And just come into contact with the ground. So feel the ground beneath the feet. Maybe just rock the hips a little to allow that lower back to settle in. Softly close the eyes. If it's more comfortable, you could take the feet out to the side of the mat with the knees coming towards each other. For a moment, come into your breath. Just noticing the movement of breath within the body. Notice where you feel the body moving as you breathe. And allowing this to bring you into the present moment, to leave whatever part of your day you've experienced so far behind you, and whatever there is to come, well, that is to come. Let's just be here right now on the mat with the breath. Now, if your knees are together, just gently draw them apart and have the feet and the knees so that they're hip width apart. And as we breathe in next, we're going to stretch the right leg away along the mat and push to the heel. And the right arm is going to come overhead if that's comfortable, or you're stretching the fingertips down towards the foot. And on an exhalation, draw the foot back, bring the arm down by the side, and then go to the other side. Stretching away. And then exhaling, drawing down. Let's do that a couple more times to each side. Really nice big inflation with the inhalation. And then when you exhale, open the mouth. Always inhaling through the nose. And only exhaling through the mouth when we want a big sigh away. We'll do that again. Soften for a moment, settle again. And gradually draw those knees towards the chest. Either holding onto the backs of the thighs or onto the shins and having a little rock one way and the other. And then whilst we're here, we'll do a little bit of pointing and flexing. You can release the hands and do the same action with the hands. And maybe a little twirly whirly. Hands and feet, one way and then the other. And then just stretch the legs up a little bit, but have a bend in the legs and just let everything shake. Shaky, shaky, shaky. So you might feel a little bit of warmth happening here, a little bit tingling. So we just think about prana today. So prana is life force, energy. Maybe take those arms overhead and maybe give them a little twirl. And then just have a nice big stretch up towards the ceiling with the hands and the feet. Push away through the heels and then draw them back into the chest. Maybe lift the head. And do it a few times. So prana is life force. Prana is the word for life force. And just do this one more time. And then bring the feet down to the ground. We're going to draw the right knee towards the chest, hold on to the shin or the back of the thigh and gently draw the knee down towards you. When you next breathe in, we're going to stretch the leg up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. As we breathe out, we'll draw the knee down to the chest and start to lift the head if you want to do that. Looking down the center line, underneath it again. And one more time. Bring that foot down to the ground. Then keep the left knee as it is. Take the right knee out to the side as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, draw it back to center. So it's not going too far out to the side. Just letting it fall out and then back in. If you feel, so carry on doing that. If you feel that there's any pinching in the back, any overarching of the spine, then you just don't let that knee drop out so far. So prana we take in through the in-breath. We also take it in through food and water, and also through our visual, through sight, through touch, and through our experiences. Now, when that right knee comes back up to center, we're going to stretch the left leg away, push away through the heel, then let the right knee drop out again. And the sole of the right foot can come towards the left thigh or knee or further down the leg. The hands can go down by the sides or onto the torso, or you can take them overhead. Be with the breath. And have a sense of the breath bubbling up. So as you breathe in, it's bubbling up out of a spring. So imagine that spring freshness. If you're out on a walk and you find a spring and you put your hands into it, it's cool, fresh and vital. So imagine that, those qualities with that in-breath bubbling up. Now we're going to lift the knee up. Draw the right knee towards the chest again. The left leg can remain extended if that's okay for your back, or you can bring it back into the bent knee position. Experiment with what's right for you. We're going to breathe in next and extend the leg up and take the right arm overhead. And then lock in the navel and the pelvic floor and lower the leg down towards the ground. So you may prefer to bend the knee at this point. This arm will now come down to the ground. Bend the knee, bring it onto the chest. You could lift the head if you want to. Remember, you don't have to do that. And then stretch the leg up, take the arm overhead and allow that leg to come down towards the ground. And then we'll do that one more time. Slide the leg back. Then bring the ankle onto the opposite thigh. Place the right hand onto the right thigh, staying there if you wish to, or lifting that left foot up, drawing the right foot towards you. Flex that right foot, and then take the hands behind the left thigh if you've lifted the left foot up. If that's comfortable, and you can do that without lifting the shoulders off the ground. If you find the shoulder coming off the ground with the effort, then keep that left foot onto the ground. If you wish to, extending the left leg up. Steady, soft breath. Feel that bubbling spring of energy, life force. And then gently release down. Bring that foot down to the ground. And to just see what one side feels like compared to the other. I'll draw that left knee towards the chest. Hold that left knee down. As you next breathe in, extend the leg up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, draw the knee back. You could lift the head to look down center line if you wish to. Twice more. And bring that foot down to the ground after those rounds. As you breathe in, we're going to allow that knee to go out to the side, just as we did on the other side. And then bring it back to center when you're ready. With the out breath. So carry on. The hands resting either onto the abdomen or onto the ground, doesn't matter which. Just keep settling those shoulders down. And the lower back, making sure it isn't arching. If it's arching, you're taking the knee too far for you today. Now this time when the knee goes out to the side, extend the right leg. Bring the sole of the foot towards the leg. Notice the arch in the back. If it's starting to be too pronounced, take the foot further away. Hands wherever you would like them to be. Like to take them overhead and get a little movement and openness into the chest. And then bring the awareness back to the bubbling spring. So as somebody said, gosh, when was she on telly? Maybe a couple of decades ago. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. You're not only what you eat, you are what you think. You are what you experience. So all of that prana coming in. Make the right choices. I know that's not always possible. So we'll draw the knee up. Bring the knee towards us. Gather. Then the other leg can be bent or extended depending on your lower back. This time, next exhalation, draw the knee down, lift the head if you wish to. Just remembering to engage the abs if you're doing that. And then breathe in, stretch up, take the left arm overhead and then lower that leg down to the ground. Bending the knee if you need to do so. And then bring this arm down. So gather. Exhale. Inhale. Stretch up, exhale, lower down, arm overhead, and then bring the arm down. Ready to gather again. Then you bring that left knee in this time, place the ankle onto the right thigh. Placing the left hand onto the left thigh, stay there if that's the right place for you, or lift that foot up, flex the left foot. You could thread the hands behind the right thigh if that's okay for you to do so, and perhaps extending the leg up. Releasing the shoulders down and coming back to bubbling spring. And prana also comes from the company you keep. So, you know, some people, when you've been with them, you feel absolutely bleh, feel totally washed out. But some people you come away from, you're absolutely kicking your ankles together with glee because you feel so energized. And then bring that foot down. That's part of the choices that we make. And there are ways to protect ourselves against the energy sappers. So just relax the back down to the ground, maybe take the feet out to the sides and the knees together. And another way to bring prana in is to either go there if you can, or imagine your favorite place. Your favorite place. So just spend a moment with the breath, with the body on the ground. And imagining your favorite place at the best time of year to be in that place. And take in the sights and the colours and the sounds, textures and flavours. And then we're going to bring the feet back so the feet and knees are hip width apart. Take the arms out to the sides. Breath in, then a gentle rotation over to the right as you take the knees over to the right. Breathe in, engage the navel, lift the knees up to center. Keep your shoulders on the ground and then exhale to the other side. Inhale, center. So carry on for 2 more rounds. You can start taking the gaze down the other arm if you wish to. If that's okay for your neck, spine. And perhaps come back to your favorite place. And of course, if your favorite place is to do yoga on a mat, then that's perfect. When you come up from the left for the 3rd time, draw the knees in if you like, have a little rock. And then we're going to make our way up to sitting. So you can roll over onto one side or you can just rock up. We're not going to come to sitting, we're going to come onto all fours actually. So the arms are underneath, well, just slightly forward of the shoulders, slightly wider. We'll come to cat, knees underneath the hips, elbows slightly flexed so they're soft. Now ground down through the palms of the hands. And with your next breath in, soften the belly down, open the chest, shoulders down and gently look up, being mindful of your neck. Breathing out, draw in through the pelvic floor, the navel, arch the spine, and gently let the head drop down. So we're completing 2 more rounds here. So with that inhalation, imagine the bubbling spring. With the exhalation, it's almost as if we're just absorbing the energies of that bubbling spring, those qualities, into our being. And after the 3rd exhalation, come down to child's pose, just relax for a moment. And then from here, we're going to come to pigeon pose. So this can be quite tough on the knees. So if you can do this lying on your back, if you wish to. So if you're doing it lying on your back, you're just extending one leg and drawing the other knee in towards the body. So, but if your knees are okay, we can just carry on. So you come onto all fours. We slide the right knee towards the right hand. The right foot stays underneath the right thigh, or you just take that right foot over, you shuffle it over and it goes underneath the left groin to the top of the thigh, or maybe a bit further down the leg or a bit further up, depending on how you're made. Just place both hands onto the floor or onto the fingertips even, if you'd like, and open the chest, have the shoulders down and looking directly ahead, stretching that left leg out behind you. Being with that bubbling spring of breath. And then we'll come to a reclining pigeon. So we bring the arms down to the ground. Now you can bring the head down onto the hands, or you could come to the cupped hands. So like a teenage pose where you put your chin into your hands. So whichever suits you here. And then as you're ready, we'll just gently lift back up onto those hands. We bring the right foot back underneath the right thigh, tuck the left toes under, slide the right foot back, and then slide the left knee forward. Or if you're lying on your back, you're just exchanging. If you'd like to, you can shuffle the left foot underneath the right groin, and then just stay in that back bend for a moment, either onto your hands or onto your fingertips. If you're lying on the floor, just drawing that thigh towards you. And if you're up on the fingertips, and we come down to reclining then, again with the same options as before. And then as you're ready, we come back up onto the fingers, onto the hands, slide the foot underneath, come back into like a high plank pose. And then bring the knees to the ground, bring the hips back towards the heels. If you're lying on your back, bring yourself over onto child's pose. If you have socks on, you can just very softly slip them off. Perhaps a bit harder than you think, aren't they, socks on the whole? And then from here, we're going to make our way up to standing. So let's walk the hands towards us, tuck the toes under, come up onto the fingertips and lift the knees. And then with a nice deep inhalation, we can whoosh up. So, and up. If you find you've got a little light-headed as you come up, then maybe just come down to halfway for a moment. Otherwise, we'll come to Tadasana, so the mountain pose. Feet, knees, hips, and shoulders all in alignment. Take the arms down by the side. And connect through the soles of the feet, lift the sternum, shoulders down. And then just come to the breath and maybe close the eyes softly if your balance is okay there. And just notice the movement and the circulation of breath within the body. Have an awareness of each inhalation coming up. Bubbling spring, maybe starting from somewhere around the navel and then Perhaps that bubbling spring lifting up all the way to the crown of the head, and the exhalation showers down around you. Then slowly come back. Turn to face the short edge of your mat, if you weren't already. Now, if your balance isn't so hot today, or on the whole, you can make sure you're next to a wall or near a chair or something. We root down through the feet. We're rooting down through the right foot in particular. And then we're going to lift the left knee up. So left knee lifts up. You can lift the hands up if you like at the same time. And then bring the hands down and take the left toes behind, touch the floor. Do that again. And take them behind, touch the floor. One more time. Now this time, the left toes can touch the floor. Raise the right arm, bring the tip of the index finger, tip of thumb, nice and tall, draw the navel. Stay there if you wish to, or you could just bend that left knee and take hold of the ankle or the foot. If your balance is good there, have the gaze to whatever you have opposite you. And if you're comfortable, you could even just start to take the foot away from you and lean forward slightly. Keeping in mind that bubbling spring. And come back up. Drop the hand down. Ooh, and if you can do, draw the left knee up towards the chest. And then take that left foot out behind you. So you could do all that with a chair or with toes onto the ground, and take that left foot behind you. So we're leading with the right foot. We're going to breathe in and just bend that right leg and take the arms out to the side with the elbows bent, really opening into the chest as we breathe in, and then breathe out and just straighten the front leg, bring the arms down by the sides, and do that again. Keep that awareness of the bubbling energy coming up, inhalation, exhalation showering down. And then this time into warrior one again, with the arms out to the sides. And then as you next inhale, step the foot through, bring the arms down by the sides. So we'll just settle down through the soles of the feet again. Draw the navel and the pelvic floor. So we're going to root down through the sole of the left foot this time. Breathe in and raising the right foot up. Breathe out, take the toes behind, just touch the floor. Again. This time, raise up. And we take the toes behind, we can raise the left arm, take the tip of thumb, tip of finger together. Then either keep those right toes onto the ground, or you're lifting that foot up, catching hold. If you're doing that, just make sure you're not skewing that knee, make sure the knee's safe. Take the foot out, lean forward slightly, if you wish to. Dancer pose, Natarajasana. And bring the hand down, draw the knee up towards the chest, tuck it in, and then take that foot out behind you. And lift up into warrior one, making sure the knee doesn't go beyond the ankle. Just establishing, and then exhale, straightening, draw the hands down. Do that a couple of times. Come back to the warrior one. Hold for a couple of breaths. And as you next inhale, step forward, ground down through the feet. Be with your bubbling spring for a moment. Now we're going to breathe in, lift up, raise the arms up, come up onto tiptoes if you can do. And then if it's okay for your knees, we're going to come down to a squat. Bring the arms down. If that's not all right for you today, come down in a way that is right for you. Just pause for a moment in that squat. The fingers onto the ground. It's very strengthening doing any kind of a squat. So imagining that bubbling spring of breath still. And then gently allow yourself to come down into child's pose for a moment. Using next inhalation to gently come up. Then come back down to how we started. Come back down to the ground with the knees bent, feet flat onto the floor. Pop your warm things on, so socks can go back onto feet. Jumpers can be put on. You could place a cushion underneath the head and just pop a blanket onto the body if you wish to. Just for a 3-minute or so absorption. We need this at the end of our practice. Beginning of our practice, we do this to leave everything behind. Excuse me, talking once I'm putting my jumper on. To leave everything behind and bring us into the present, bring us onto our mat. And then at the end of our practice, we need to consolidate what we've been doing. We need to be able to absorb what we've been doing. So that is the reason. So never leave it out. Just gently closing the eyes and feeling the ground beneath you. Coming into contact with the ground beneath you. Releasing the lower back and the space between the shoulder blades. Having the arms and hands in a comfortable position for you. And if you like, the feet can go to the edge of the mat and the knees come towards each other, if that's comfortable. And bring your awareness to the space between the navel and the sternum, so around where you might find the diaphragm on the inhalation. And imagine sparkly light particles as you breathe in, lifting up from that space all the way to the base of the neck. As you breathe out, they flow away. Each inhalation, these sparkly light particles going up through your body, up to the base of the neck, and exhalation, they just flow away. Take a few more gentle, natural breaths. Try not to force the breath, just allow it to happen. Allow the visualization to come naturally with the wave of the breath. And leaving that sense of prana, the light particles, and just allow the breath to come back to a natural pattern. The breath then brings you back to the sensations of body on the floor. The things around you, your place in your room, sounds. And then eventually starting to bring some movement and externalizing the body in a way that feels right for you to do so. Moving toes, fingers, hands, feet, face. Stretching or drawing these in. And then finally, rolling over onto one side if that feels like the right thing for you to do. And when you're ready, coming up to sitting. Namaste.